Coming to you live from the Chamber of Haunter Studios, this is Haunting You. I'm John Schelt.
I'm Keoni Hutton.
I'm Leslie Reed.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Haunting You podcast, and happy May. We are so excited to have you here. Okay, full disclosure. I do this all the time. I say when the episode's coming out, but I need full disclosure. It is March still when we are recording this. And so just please keep that in mind as you hear our discussion. Some things may change between now and when it actually gets released. And that's kind of key to understand, that it happens, right? But May is a very exciting time in the haunt world. Let's see what has happened in April. Hauntfest has happened. Fear Expo has happened. I was at Fear Expo. See, this is a part of podcasting that no one ever talks about. Making sure that you're
temporally accurate.
Exactly. But the East Coast Haunters Convention also will have happened by the time this comes out. So the next thing to look forward to will, of course, be Midwest Haunters up in Rosemont, Illinois, June 7th to the 9th. And then the Chamber of Haunters official convention, Texas Haunters Convention, July 13th to the 14th, all happening in the next couple of months. Oh, and I have to throw out there, Midsummer Scream, July 20. I don't have the new dates for Midsummer Scream on here yet. Midsummer Scream is coming. I'm going to just cut all of this out. You're never going to know that I said anything about Midsummer.
You are not.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Leslie, how often does he actually cut something when he says he's going to cut something?
Almost never.
You'll never know because if it's cut, you'll never know. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, but I remember what we said.
Yeah, that is accurate. Before we dive into our topic for today, we have a matter of great import that we must discuss.
I mean, great import. Maybe going too far.
John, I am deeply concerned about you. And we need to have just a mini intervention here for just a moment.
And specifically, more so than usual.
More so than usual is accurate. John has decided to get
everything back.
John's getting fancy with the spices. That's what's happening. John is getting fancy with the spices.
I'm not fully sure you understand the full extent of that saying, my friend.
I'm not sure you do.
He and I came up with it.
I don't think you...
A few days ago, John sent us a picture via our group text of green ice cream that he had made. He claims it is ice cream, by the way. I'm not totally buy into that, but he claims it was ice cream. And what flavor was it, John?
This is, I would say, like a Mountain Dew infused ice cream. Maybe
he
flavor
is
is too
making
much. But...
Mountain Dew ice cream. But this is not first off, I don't think it's real ice cream because real ice cream, you put all the ingredients in the bucket with the ice and the salt on it, and then you have to crank it around a whole bunch of times.
There's the thing. You don't need to do any of that.
But
you can,
but that's what
you
makes
don't
it
have
ice cream.
No, it doesn't. What about an ice cream maker? It does not require
That's exactly what it's doing. It's just doing it automatically.
No.
So how did you make this? Is my question to you, sir.
So it was 3 ingredients. It was only 3 ingredients. It was some heavy whipping cream, some sweetened condensed milk, and 1 cup of Mountain Dew Zero Sugar.
That is not ice cream. That is frozen whipped cream.
Also, that is not Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew has sugar. That's
I figured
90% of the point.
So I figured I was already kind of tempting fate by making Mountain
10% is caffeine.
Yeah, sure. I figured I needed to reel it in just a smidge. So
okay. Go ahead.
You're saying defend yourself, man.
Yes, defend yourself, man. What gave you the idea to even do this?
I saw on social media that Taco Bell was bringing out Baja Blast Mountain Dew Gelato. And I was just you know what? What the hell? For $5, I can do something similar. Why not?
And how did your experiment turn out?
Not good and not bad. It was fine. It was fine.
How did it taste?
Hey, I'll put it this way. So it did. It tasted like creamy vanilla ice cream with a slight Mountain Dew hit to it. It wasn't it does not knock you over with Mountain Dew flavor or sugar or anything like that. It's very subtle. So
I remember.
I would say a B-.
I'm more like a C-. I remember very vividly when we were in high school and we went to Cold Stone, the ice cream shop one day, and they had a Mountain Dew flavored.
I don't remember what it was.
Slushy or milkshake or float,
I don't know.
maybe a float, something like that. But like, I remember drinking that and being so fucking buzzed, like just an uncomfortable amount of energy after that, and just like I imagine it's what being on speed is like. Like that's kind of how I relate it. You know, having never tried speed. And any of my bosses ever listened to this. To be clear,
you got yourself in a bit of a hole there, didn't you? But no,
he always does.
Yeah, he does. But for those of our listeners saying like you're just a couple of stupid high school kids, you know, it's accurate. Caffeine, which is true. But this was different. It was way beyond any caffeine buzz I have had in my life to this date. And like the military is known for its, I'm going to say, caffeine consumption, and I have consumed an uncomfortable amount of caffeine. Wait, how do you consume caffeine? You do not like coffee. How do you?
Energy drinks.
I'm not allowed to have those.
No, you get stabby. No. I mean, just imagine a Tasmanian devil with scissors.
Yes, accurate. But like, I bring that story up because that is what I imagine you making Mountain Dew ice cream will create. Like, there's nothing good can come from this experiment.
Nothing bad happened. Then I took pictures of the scoops and I sent it to you, and I sent it to our friend Ryan Festag, who said it looks like ice cream.
Okay, what color did it turn out?
Like a mint green.
Yeah, why did it turn out mint green, Mister? I added green food coloring because it wasn't turning any kind of reasonable color.
Well, because I was looking at it and it was white, and I was like, "Oh, that's disappointing."
Yes, you also are.
The whole. I will say this: the intended purpose of this experiment was to have fun, and it was enjoyable. That's why I added the food coloring. I'm gonna make you some, and you're gonna like it.
I am disappointed in you.
Actually, you know what?
That's my point here.
I will make you some, and you will say what I just said. You'll be like,
you know what?
I would never go and purchase this, but I wouldn't throw it away either. It is one that you will immediately forget about.
Bet. I will give you $3 if you convince me that it is. If you convince me to that level.
What? There's more than one way to make ice cream.
I don't believe that. To be clear, I don't believe that. But we have. I think we've ground this into the ground enough.
I feel very sorry for our guest now.
I very much enjoyed watching her facial expressions over the course of this conversation, though.
Listen to us ramble on incoherently.
So, for the last several episodes, we have been diving deep into convention season. We talked to Doug Sheldon, who is the owner of HauntCon. We talked to Roseanne Harpold, the owner of HauntFest. Ideally, this hasn't happened yet, but we'll have Doug Sheldon back to talk about Fear Expo. And then, of course, we'll be doing our live show from the floor of Fear Expo. It will have already happened. Anyway, the last several episodes have been very focused on convention season. But now that we are past the majority of convention season, we want to start looking ahead to this Halloween. And I am super excited because we've brought a very special guest on today to talk about what they are doing. So if you've listened to the podcast at all, and if you haven't, go back and listen to our previous episodes because, first of all, they're fire. Why are you not listening to them? But all of that aside, I have been working with a local haunted house here in Fremont, California, where I have been living for the last year and a half. And it is absolutely phenomenal. Has been around for like 50 some years. Well, 55. She's signaling me over the thing. It has been around for 55 years now, and like it's been such a cool experience to be part of this community tradition, running into people who came to the ghost house as children now are coming back and bringing their own children, and like getting to be a part of that has just been such a cool experience and something I have seen nowhere else in the haunt industry. It has been a pleasure and a privilege to work closely with this organization over the last year and a half to help them bring their visions to life, and I have had so much fun. But now I am leaving, going back to the opposite coast, and cannot do nearly what I want to for them this year. So instead, I'm doing the little bit that I can, helping on the back end design work, and then I'll just kind of hand everything off and let them run with it. But today, I want to introduce Miss Annette Bergdahl, one bad witch, the president of the Candlelighters of Fremont, California, who is here to talk about the ghost house, the Candlelighters, and everything that they are going to be doing this year. So, Annette, welcome to the Haunting You podcast. I am so excited to have you here.
I'm so excited. And you keep talking about all the haunts, and I'm excited that I get to go to 2 of them. So don't spoil it.
Yeah, so, I like to think that I've had a positive influence on the organization. If nothing else, I have convinced Annette to go to Midsummer Scream and Fear Expo this year. So
nice.
Like that's a huge win by itself.
Super excited, very, very excited. It was received very well with the members as well, telling me I need to find this and I need to find that, and so I'm kind of excited. So it's
now you have a shopping list,
shopping list, and vendors and things like that we need to find. So I'm super excited. I told the girl that's going with me, Caroline, since we were able to secure 2 VIP passes to Midsummer Scream, I am super excited for that. And we get to go to the dinner on Saturday night. So I told her we need to come up with the best witch costumes ever.
Absolutely. You need to come up with the best witch costumes ever.
I'm so excited for that. Yes. But thank you very much for having me. I'm very much excited. And I'm a little intrigued about the Mountain Dew ice cream, but if you weren't up for 2 days after eating it, then it wasn't true Mountain Dew. Sorry.
Please don't encourage him.
You've got me there, honestly.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So Annette, first off, tell us, what are the Candlelighters? What is the Candlelighters? I knew nothing about this coming before I got here.
So the Candlelighters started in 1969. There were about, 7 to 10 women who wanted to do something for the community. And because they wanted to do something for the community, they wanted to put together a ghost house. And so they did. They wanted to raise money for the local YMCA. And they ended up doing it and pulled it off. And that's kind of how it started. They opened it up to other nonprofits. And it started in 1969, and this is our 55th year, but we are a nonprofit that gives back to other nonprofits in the Tri-Valley. So we have given things away from beds to, oh my gosh, the list of people that we've given to name there's like over 200. And like the YMCA Center, the Children's Center, the multiple sclerosis, breakfast programs, children's programs, repertory theaters, Special Olympics, the Age Center, Math Nucleus, Niles Depot, Planetarium, all kinds of senior center stuff from the Ronald McDonald House, you name it. There's over 300 people that we've given to. And in the 60 or 55 years, it's over $2.5 million that we've given back.
That is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And something that I didn't fully understand, like people apply for grants with the Candlelighters, but you only are able to fund certain things. Can you talk a little bit about like the eligibility?
We fund certain things. So we can't do consumables. We have to do things like a printer without the ink, things like that. If you want beds, that's great. It can't be something that somebody can take from the person we gave it to. And so it's a little bit of a process, and there is a proposal committee that gets together and they go through and they figure out if it meets our criteria. On the website, there are different forms and things to fill out, and you have to give us what you want and 3 examples of what you want, the high, the low, and the medium bid. And we'll go from there. And it's been pretty nice. Last year, we gave away at January's meeting, the luncheon we had in January was $69,000. We gave to, I believe it was 9 organizations.
That's a good year right there.
Yeah. It was really good. It was really good. It was super fun. very busy. Not last year, the year before last. It was very fun because Channel 7 showed up on the last night.
I know they interviewed me, and
It
I had Mortimer Ghost on my hip. Like it was a blast.
It was absolutely amazing. The cameraman wouldn't leave the haunt. He stayed in the house, and I'm like, dude, how long? He stayed until 9:00. That was no joke. They got there at 7, and they were there for 2 hours.
That's outstanding.
And it was great. It was the best night ever. I'm like, honey, can you come at the beginning, not the end?
Yeah,
It was fun. It was so much fun. And a lot of the customers or all the patrons are like, there's a camera inside. I'm like, I know, just scream and holler and say, hey, how you doing? But it was fun. It was really a lot of fun.
And for all our listeners, check out the show notes because I'll put a link to that Channel 7 news clip that they did that year.
It was fun. It was very fun. But there's all kinds of things that you can come for. We did sheds this year. We did beds. We did equipment for the senior center. They were looking for new chairs. We did park benches and I want to say bicycle racks for a Palm Gardens here in Fremont, which I didn't even know it was there. It's a gorgeous park of Mission, but that was amazing. It's just some really beautiful things. We've done the amphitheater at the park, Lake Elizabeth. And so that was done by us, and the water slides and things like that. They usually put a nice little sign or a plaque where we've done something. Mm-hmm. And so they're all around Fremont, Newark, and Union City. So.
And if people want to learn more about the Candlelighters or how to get grants or anything like that, where should they go to look?
The website, www.candlelighters.com.
Perfect.
And that's where they'll find it.
So, Annette, you've been in operation for 55 years. You have to have had just some amazing haunts that you put on thematically. So what are some of your favorites that you've done since you've been with the organization?
So I've been there for 10 years, and I loved doing the Vampire Cruise Line because I did a boiler room. And I had so much fun doing the boiler room. And
describe it a little for the listeners.
Oh my gosh. So the boiler room I did it the biggest room that we have, and that's room number 9. And I don't have the schematics in front of me, but it's a pretty good sized room. So I took an old fireplace, an electric fireplace that didn't have any of the heat working, and I used that in the corner, and that was my bottom of the boiler. So I had body parts coming out of that, blood dripping everywhere. Above that, I had a Grim Reaper type standing behind him with an axe putting things into the boiler.
Nice.
And then from the ceiling, I had, I don't know what they're called, but the piping that you use on the back of the dryer. So
yeah. Okay. The ducting.
Oh my gosh. So I put that all over the top, on the walls, and everywhere. It looked like you were walking through. It was so fun. It was just so fun. And then we had skeletons hanging off this corner and that corner, and it was really cool. It was just really, really cool. That was my very first one. And from there, it has been a net on candy. It's gone from one thing to the next. So I did not get to do one in Scaryland, so that kind of stunk. The web.
Wait, say that one more time.
I didn't get to do a room in Scaryland.
Scaryland.
In Scaryland. Scaryland was already done. I was like, this kind of sucked, but that's okay. I got to witch a lot that year. Mm-hmm. And so the witching is fun. So I get to dress up as a witch and I get to go scare all the children. And so that's just one thing, The web was fun. So then the web, I did a total cobweb where we had a mummy all wrapped up and he was on a tree and hanging from the tree. That was amazing.
Solid.
Shadow of the Vampire. That was a pretty good one. So we had a crypt kind of thing in, again, room 9, because I like to take the biggest room. And we had kids in the room, and one of them was a vampire. And if I remember correctly, he was inside the coffin. So that was kind of cool. Ghost House 50th year. I don't remember. I think that was just the ghouls and the goblins. Nothing spectacular. But Crazed Carnival was fun. I ended up with a smaller room. I wanted to do a room. And Crazed Carnival, I did let's see, how do I explain this? When you look between 2 tarps and you have the stripes on the outside of the tarps, you look like you're looking through the outside of 2 circus tents.
Okay.
And that's what I put on the walls. And then over one circus tent coming out like a it almost looked like the cartoon where a guy was coming out of a box where the things were all bent. I had the top half of the Yeti coming out, and he was escaping from the crazed carnivore.
I like
Nice. That's awesome.
And in the corner, we had the popcorn machine, and the popcorn machine was popping eyeballs. So
Yes.
that was, we had a lot of fun with that, and dripping things from the kettle and things like that. So that was super fun. I love doing that one. I got a lot of looks of, you did what to the popcorn machine?
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
it's a prop. It doesn't work. I promise it doesn't work. It was fun. Oh man, I had a great time with that. And then we had, what else did we do? There was no house through COVID through 21, which kind of stunk, but Witches Through Time. I helped with the main room on that one. And that was a really good collaboration. We had all kinds of just witches throughout time. So there was a room that had the witch from Niles, which was a good room. We had, oh my gosh, this was just last year.
This is the first one I helped with.
Mine, but I'm so into mine this year.
Oh, I'm sure. I know it. I know it.
Here.
Like, I loved Witches Through Time because it took elements from so many different stories and put them all together. So the Blair Witch was there, the witch from the Wizard of Oz, Ursula, the Sea Witch,
all of them, and it was really fun.
Did you do Baba Yaga?
Huh?
Did you do Baba Yaga?
There was no Baba Yaga, but they did have like a Norse witch.
Yes, we did have the North Witch. That was good. And then we had I say it wrong every time. Apocarthy?
Apothecary.
That's it. Thank you. Apothecary. I say it wrong every single time.
Yeah.
But that room was cool because we had one of the girls made an actual witch out of an Alhambra jug. That was pretty awesome.
It was hysterical.
And she put the head and stuff on top, and she had the crystal ball, but she did an amazing room all along the back, different bottles and things like that she found that were just absolutely the best to see. And she made all the labels and everything on it. It was a really cool room.
Yeah, that room was a great case study in scenic design. It was absolutely beautifully done. I don't know where she found all the bottles, but phenomenal.
The Dracula room was a bar. So we had the one of the bigger coffins set on two sawhorses.
So this was now last year.
This was last year.
Witches Through Time. This was Voodoo on the Bayou.
Oh, Voodoo on the Bayou. Sorry, wrong year. But last year's was good too. But Voodoo on the Bayou, Keoni had some great ideas on how to make a swamp, and we ran with it. And
Laser swamp.
Oh, it was so good. The laser swamp. Oh my gosh, it was the highlight. It was so good. But all the rooms last year were so detailed. It was so fun. But everything from color to the lights to everything. It was just so nice. So nice. But it was good. It was really, really good. But I plan on doing mine as like the house on steroids. So
yeah, hold that thought because we'll get there.
I will hold that.
Before we get there, talk a little bit about like the setup of the house. You've got like it's very unusual from any other haunted house I have ever worked with.
So what this is we are very fortunate to have access to what is a carriage house. And it's the last standing house in Fremont. And
now, when you say carriage house, you mean like the house that carriages used to be stored in?
Horse and buggies. Yep.
There are horse stalls in there.
It was the old carriage house. And if you were to look at it, and if nothing else was around it, there used to be one of the stalls, because as you look at it, it's got the great big barn door in the front. It's got a great porch. And as you look inside, to the left, there's a tack room. And then to the right, you have stairs that go up to the upper part of the house, which we're not allowed in. And then beyond those stairs on the same side are all the stalls. One of the stalls had a wall put up because before it went out, and where the restaurant sits next to us right now used to be an extension of the stalls. And so it used to be, in its heyday, it was absolutely gorgeous. And
it's still such a cool
it
building.
is. They're redoing a few things. They're doing a new roof, I believe, this year.
Oh, good.
We would like to see if we could paint it for them as part of the grant process. We're going to try to get that done this year. But it's a beautiful, beautiful building. Everything inside is mahogany, and it's just gorgeous. It's just absolutely, yeah.
That's gorgeous.
There's the floor, the walls, everything is just gorgeous. And it's a sight to see. It's really a sight to see.
It is, but like that's just the first part of the house.
That's just the first part.
So
what we do,
it's a very limited, a limited space.
It's
So
a limited
how do
space.
you turn it into a haunted house?
So we have our nice construction team has built walls. And so what we do is you can't attach anything to the sides, but you can attach anything to the floor. So
Yeah,
we'll take
because the
our
floor of the
walls,
house was originally dirt, I imagine. So
dirt and gravel.
so the Candlelighters put a
Right.
put a floor
We put
down
a
in
floor-
there.
We put a floor in, and every now and then we have to replace some boards, but depending on how heavy stuff is in the house, but it's holding up great. And the guys we have a bunch of spots where we have electrical. So we have access to all different types of things. And what's really cool is the tack room, we still kind of use that as a hidden gem. So when we put our walls up, you make it so somebody can come out of that as well. So, but you put up your path, and it's different every year. Most of the time you'll go in, turn left, and then you turn right at the end of the hallway and you see a big space. And that's what we work with. We've had a couple of the people in the past who have done all types of walls and made it more of a maze where you have to go in and around and then go up the ramp into the next part of the house. The next part of the house consists of 2 trailers. And the only way I can describe those are like the old construction trailers.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
mobile home trailers.
It's like a mobile home trailer. And so they sit right next to each other. One sits all the way to the right. So you're coming in the back door. The other one sits a little bit up. So when you go through it, you're going through one and all the way through it in a maze. And so what the guys did quite a few years ago, they built the rooms that we have. And those are the rooms that we get to decorate. So there are 10 rooms in 10 rooms in the trailers. And then we have one main room. So there's 11 rooms that usually get decorated.
Yeah, and the way I saw it the last couple of years, the main room kind of ends up being it's what brings the guests into your
What brings them
story.
in. Yes.
And then the other 10 rooms are your scare zones.
Exactly. And so it all depends on the theme, and it all depends on how the person or the president that year sees her theme. So if she sees a big room, she does a big room. If she sees something different, then she'll do something different. So the president has the opportunity to do whatever she wants with that space. Sometimes it drives the workers nuts because they have to do a lot. Sometimes it's not. But we have a lot of things. We just were approved to get another trailer for props. So we'll have 2 big trailers for props. But it's really cool. So, but after that, we put up a ramp in the front. So it's wheelchair accessible. And so the main ramp will go in the door, and everything has to be wheelchair accessible. So whatever I do has to be wheelchair accessible, and so does the ramps. And they all have to be ADA approved. And then the exit ramp is the same way. It will come back and come down. But we also have 2 midways. So we have 2 rows that are filled with games and caramel apples and things like that. And that's where a lot of the fun happens as well. There's a lot of people who don't like to be scared. So we have a fairy line, and our fairies consists of mostly the 15 to 16-year-old girls that come from school, and they all get their service hours, but they wear a lighted cape, and the lighted cape is not so scary. But it's really kind of fun. The whole thing behind it is still be affordable for all the kids to come in and see. If you want to come in 3 or 4 times, you'll be able to afford it. And it's still family friendly. So I'm trying to up it a little bit this year to be a little bit more scary, but still be family friendly. Trying.
I adore the way that I adore so many things about this house, but I love how as soon as you come out of the ghost house, it dumps you right into the midway.
Mm-hmm.
And I love one that you have a midway because it gives reason for people to stick around and spend money, and like that's where all of the fun happens. If it was just a house, they go through the house, they leave, nothing else. But by having that midway there, you have food, you have food and drinks and games and caramel apples. It's a caramel apple.
It's very cheesy, but it's a fun cheesy. It's, it keeps the kids happy. Parents oh my gosh. So we end up with a lot of Girl and Boy Scout troops. We have birthday parties that come down, and it's a really fun night that it's not going to cost the parent an arm and a leg.
Yeah. What are ticket costs?
Ticket costs are $5 to get in.
Mhm.
This year, there's going to be a little bit something different because my house is a little bit different.
I would say hold the thought. We'll talk about that when we get to it.
A little bit different, but it's $5 to get in, but it gets you into the house, and you get to. It's a very slow roll. We try to make sure everybody's out of the main room before we send the next family in to make sure everybody has their own experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which I greatly appreciate and have ranted about endlessly on this podcast.
Yeah. It's very nice. The fairy line will go as one group because everybody's usually scared. So if they go in a group, then it's not that big a deal, and they're happier that way.
Yeah.
Really quickly, when you first met Kay, were you kind of nervous about what kind of person?
Oh my gosh, no. Okay, so we what we do a volunteer social. And the volunteer social is where people, because we put it out on social media, and anybody who wants to learn anything about it can come. It was a Saturday afternoon, 4:00. We were going to be there for a couple of hours. Any questions or anything.
In August, by the way.
In August. It's in August.
I like it.
And so we chit chat around and we go around the circle, and everybody gets to introduce themselves. And then the people who have worked the house, we get to talk about what we do at the house. So my repertoire of stuff at the house goes from head of security, head of the witches and the fairies, and head of rooms, along with 2 other people. So I do a lot there. And
not to mention last year you ran the site, which is like the person in charge of setting everything up and making sure it operates.
Right. It was
an easy job.
It was actually fun. The hard part is not getting a phone call back when you need a phone call, and you get to take that part out. But it, you know what I mean? It is what it is. But it's really fun. It's really fun to see how it actually all comes together. And so he said that he was a transplant for about 2 years with Coast Guard, and we were like, and he does his own haunt and he does his whole podcast. And I kid you not, we all went, oh my. And so we were all done talking, and I'm like, Keoni, here we go. Let's go. And he was amazing. And so I'm so sad that you're leaving. I'm like, we flew the electrician out last year. Can we fly Keoni out for the weekend to give us some help here? And I'm amazed, because what I love about it is that you have your volunteers. And I'm not banging on a volunteer by any means. Volunteer, I don't care if you give me 2 hours. Thank you so much for your time.
Sure. It's
something else that I don't have to do. But when you have somebody who is creative, and I saw the video today on the reel on how you put the crypt together, I was like, dude. And it was awesome. It was absolutely awesome. But that level of ingenuity was awesome, because it lacked it. I think we lack it. I think that we are doing a lot of the same things. And that's why I'm really, really excited to go to the next 2 conventions, because I want to see what else is out there. I want to see how we can still make it kid friendly and just up the game just a little bit.
Yeah. I want to be clear. Like, I adore you all. Absolutely love the Candlelighters. But the Candlelighters are an older organization. Okay. Like the membership tend to be toward retiree age.
Correct.
And in a lot of ways, I feel like many of the members are
a stickler,
stuck in their ways.
But I agree. I totally agree.
I would say, Annette, I think you are, for lack of a better word, the most progressive of the Candlelighters. Like, you are trying to push them into modern Halloween. And that's one of the reasons I'm so excited you're the president this year.
It doesn't have to be Pirates of Emerson by any means. You know what I mean?
That's a larger professional haunt here in the area, for those who don't know.
I don't want that. And I'm talking, they're over the top with they're over the top. And I don't want that, because I still want it to be family friendly. Mm-hmm. But I still think with the kids that were working with us and now bringing their families, I feel that it's the same thing revisited, just in a different room and just in a different way. So I'm looking for a way to up it a little bit. And some of the things that we're bringing into the main room, which I'm super excited to talk about whenever you say yes.
I was going to say, if you like, let's put that comment on hold for just a moment, take a break, hear from our sponsors, and then we can dive right into what we want to talk about for the rest of this podcast, which is Ghost House 2024.
Okay.
And thank you to our sponsors for those words.
All right. We have been leading up to it the entire podcast. Let's dig into 2024. Annette, let's start with, what is your theme for the upcoming year, and what is your vision for what you want to create?
Oh my gosh.
It's going to be good.
But before you say anything, I want to point out, before we had even built the ghost house last year, Annette was picking my brain on, before we had even built the house for 23, she was picking my brain for 24. So
Yes,
that's how much she has been thinking about this upcoming year.
Yes, I was. I didn't want anything left to chance because I didn't know when you were leaving.
And I fairly distinctly remember you telling me you wanted to do something that has never been done in the history of the ghost, in the 55-year history of the ghost house. You wanted something completely original, has never been done.
Never been done.
Where did you go?
And it all started when I walked into a store and saw a creeper from Halloween standing there. And the line that he says, basically, it's something to the effect of, "Welcome to your wildest dreams. Dreams only happen. They don't only happen at night, but they happen during the day as well. Pick your nightmare," something to those lines. And I was like, no.
Pick your nightmare.
That's good.
Bought him on the spot. And that was the whole thing. It was the whole thing. And I'm like, oh my goodness, where can we take this? And so in my 10 years at the ghost house, every time we've done our finale, our night of closing, we close. And when all the patrons are gone by about 9:15, 9:20, we wait for the treasurer to come out and give us the numbers. And every year, fortunately, we've been going up. And a lot of the older Candlelighters, man, I really wish we could hit the 200K mark. And so I would really like to get as close as I can to that 200K mark.
Or what do you mean, blow past it?
I would love to blow past it, but I don't know. And so I'm okay with anywhere close. I would love to blow past it, but I would be okay with anywhere close. And we are not that far. And so because of the restrictions of wheelchairs and the fact that you have to have it, 46 or 48 inches across, we couldn't really do without making my design team and my building team going bananas. I was thinking of doing 3. Well, they got to build it. Besides you, Keoni,
the design team has gone bananas.
Yes. So I was thinking of 3 different hallways in the main room.
Yeah. So Annette really seized on this choose your nightmare idea and wanted to have multiple room, like 3 different doors that would open into the carriage house. And then depending on which door you take, it takes you down a different hallway with a completely different experience. And oh my God, I love it.
That's what I wanted. And because it would have made way too many walls, and then we would have had to store those walls, we decided to cut it down to 2. And so, but it's 2. And I'm super excited that it's 2. When I pitched the idea at our board meeting a couple weeks back, because he made me a great, oh my gosh, do you want to see it? Yes. Nobody else can see it, but y'all can see it.
Sorry, listeners. Actually, if you go to our social media at facebook.com/hauntingyou, just the letter U, or Instagram at Haunting University, you can see pictures of the models that I built for The ghost house.
Yes. So this is the model.
It warms my heart that you still have it. Like, go in the trash.
Oh yes, I'm keeping it. Are you kidding? So this is. Let's see how we're gonna do this here, so I can show you. So this is where you walk in. There's 2 doors. So when you walk in, you'll either go one way, or you will go the other way. And so I am super, super excited for this. Beyond excited. Beyond excited.
And tell the listeners what your theme is.
The house is called House of Fears, Your Nightmares Unleashed.
Nice. Okay.
And the idea here is that fears and phobias are being brought to life in the house, forcing the people to go through to face their fears.
The way it's going to look. So now in the house, not necessarily the main room, but the 2 trailers. The way we have the trailers built, there is a screen that comes down. It's like a plastic see-through netting that comes down, and you can see everything inside. And the bottom part is an actual piece of wood that keeps everything from going inside. So the top part flips up, and you attach it, and the bottom part stays there. And so my idea is the fears are going to engulf the person going through it. So the fears are going to have the doors open. And so it'll be in the hallway, on the ground, and the wall across from the room. So everything, when they go through it, it'll be all around them. And so the fear doors were going to be open, and the nightmare doors are going to be closed. And so there'll be kids that are working for their school hours in each of the rooms that have a fear to make it more scary. And then when they go through, it'll be all enveloped and everything. So when the kids are in the rooms, they'll be all a part of the fear. And so it's different from, we got asked yesterday if somebody could do a birds theme, and I'm like, definitely.
Like Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds.
Hitchcock's.
Yes.
Yes.
Birds. And I said, that'll have your door open. So we'll have everything in the outside as well. So I'm super excited for that one. But your normal snakes and spiders. Jeff is doing a clown menagerie. So, oh my God. He is going to get you good.
I hate clowns.
Because it's the hallway before room 9.
Oh,
and
geez.
after.
So it's a big, long hallway.
Yes, it is. It's absolutely wonderful.
And it's got and this beautiful little hidden nook for a fucking clown to pop out.
Try to know where it is, so you're fine.
Excited. Yeah, it's going to be really good. It's going to be really good. But a lot of them, we'll have our meeting next month, or in April. So that'll be really cool. So I'm super excited for that. And we'll talk about what I want and how we can get it there. But I have a great list of students who are phenomenal artists. And so I'm going to have them put together some things that belong on the floor, whether it be, I think, like sphere stuff, like the falling, or something coming up out of a grate, or something along those lines. So I looking for ideas for that. But yeah, it's going to be cool. I'm excited.
Okay, Les, you ready to write?
Let me grab things to scribble on. My scribbles. There's my scribble. Too many scribbles. Actually, there's no such thing.
So, Annette, as soon as Leslie's ready, I want you to give us the fears that you have already identified.
Okay.
That'll be in each of the rooms.
Okay. Well, these are my ideas. Until we have the meeting, I would love to give my list to the people who are doing their stuff.
Yeah.
And give them ideas on how I want to see it done.
Sure.
And I know two of them already have what they want, I think, but I'm okay with that.
Right, so we've got clowns.
Yes. We have clowns, spiders,
Okay.
snakes, bats, and rats. Buried alive. One of the girls wants to do that. And then the birds.
Desiree mentioned wanted to do drowning.
Yes. Bailey. Seriously? Sorry.
All good. Sometimes our children come in and interrupt anyway. I hear you.
I keep hearing tapping on the door behind me, so I know someone is trying to get in.
Hope it's your kid.
Yeah. So drowning is Desiree's. And then I know zombies is also number 10.
Okay.
And then I would love to do something. I would love to do a heights room or falling or something like that. And I am doing a monsters room in the main room. So the main room is going to have one side is going to be completely black. So one side is fear of the dark and the other side are monsters and we have tons of like different plastic things from creatures and stuff like that. So I was thinking about it like almost like a wax museum with two kids dressed up as the monsters, and then
pretending to be wax statues, and then
that's good.
And they would move if they got closer to them or just slowly move their head. But I was wanting to do that as well.
And I love your idea for the darkness, where you have one path that is completely blacked out, no light, it's sealed up so that nothing gets in, and then they just send people in with one little electric tea light.
Little tea light.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
The walls are going to have different things on them. So if they touch the wall,
like textures,
all kinds of textures throughout the wall. And then there'll be one section where you'll turn left and then you'll have to turn right and then go around a wall. When you go around the wall, there's going to be the board on the ground. I don't know what it's called. Your board. What is that?
The vibrating floor.
The vibrating floor. Thank you.
There you go.
So I want to do that. And then I also saw a thing where there's a two-way mirror. I was thinking of putting two-way mirrors in the hallway and then have one of the kids behind the two-way mirror with a flashlight under their chin and to give them that as they look through the mirror. Because it's only going to be able to be seen if the flashlight's on.
And I think you really need to like accentuate the other senses inside this space because eyes are going to be so minimal.
Exactly.
You can really play on touch. You can play on sound. You can play on. Let's not touch taste. Let's avoid taste.
Yeah. But I like your point for sound.
I can't even imagine.
You can.
Yeah, we don't want to go
create
there.
so much with sound in that sort of dark.
The set would be great.
Absolutely. And I'll introduce you to a couple vendors at Fear Expo who do scent cups and things. But the opportunity to do like sound, scuttling bugs, or dripping water, or I'm trying to think of like other ways.
Footsteps, creaky door,
footsteps behind you.
Oh yes. Now I gotta try to figure out how to get these people from turning on their cell phone.
Yeah.
That is a tricky one.
And there's so many people that are just chicken. Turn it on, and I'm like, I'm going to tell you now, if you turn it on, it's going to ruin your experience. So this is why I'm giving you a candle. So step inside the door, close your eyes for just a minute, let your eyes adjust, and then walk through. It's basically what I'm going to tell them. And if you turn on your light, it's just like walking down your hallway at the house.
And I would say like,
but
I would tell people when they go in, like, if you turn on a flashlight, you will be asked to leave and you will not get your money back.
Yeah.
And that really, and even if you're not enforcing it,
recommend something like that.
even if you're not enforcing it, it'll be enough of a deterrent to enough people that it will be effective.
So we have a nice the niche, where as you come in, the tack room is there on the left.
Yep.
I want to put a person sitting there in a chair in all black. Nothing else showing. No white tint, nothing. They all have to dress in black. No stripes on their shoes, no nothing. And as they go by, I want them to flutter their cape so they get a little bit of a wind.
That's good.
Do you know what a morph suit is?
Yes.
The black completely spandex suit. Yeah, I think that would be perfect for that.
We have to be careful because of the different sizes of all the kids.
You have different sizes of morph suits.
Well, that's true too. That's true.
I had and I should have sent this to you. I had seen something on a hunt that was set on Instagram where it was something where this hunt was literally just low on actors. So they wanted the kind of a creepy sensation. So they literally just took like mannequin hands and attached them to the wall just for that feeling of like fingers brushing as you go by.
Oh, we have those
too.
Want filament hanging from the wall, from the ceiling.
Ooh. I hate that feeling.
I know. I hate it. And I want filament, but I also want that outside the spider's room as well.
Oh, absolutely. It's got to be in the spider's room. But that's a perfect way of using touch inside that.
Oh my gosh, yes.
That's not easy to do to you.
I know.
But I
There
also
are just a couple of things that get me.
I do like the idea having to have to go through something like last year we were trying to do like gauze and things like that. But the gauze that she bought was not really, it was falling apart because it wasn't old gauze, new gauze, which worked. But I want to do something else. And I'm, like, do they make how the sticky hands feel? That nasty sticky.
You're talking about like the ones you flick
You
and
throw.
Yes, those how they're gross.
On the
Oh,
forehead.
yeah.
Gross. But I want that feel on a vine.
That's not bad.
How do I get that to hang down and paint it all black and to get that sticky feeling on a vine? Because then they're going to go, ew, it's almost like wet spaghetti. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's actually definitely check with your high schoolers and your middle schoolers. There might be types of slime that are stable enough to not slide down all the way and to actually just stick.
I don't think it even needs to be slime. I think I'm thinking like the silicone intestines that CFX creates.
yeah.
It's just long leftover bits of silicone.
Ooh.
Like it feels wet even when it's dry.
Okay.
Just, if you could get like long, thin
Okay.
pieces of silicone and dangle them down that way, like that, I think could work.
That would be cool. I just don't want anybody to break them. So they have to be done.
But that's one reason
is-
why I think silicone will work. It's surprisingly resilient.
So I
Unless
do
someone,
have
grabs and
problem
yanks.
with fire department. So I can't put a plastic over the top because just in case the fire sprinklers do come on, it has to be able to hit. But I was black mesh, a couple of almost like the camo material.
Yeah.
Black. You know what I mean?
I do.
But
I know a guy who sells that too.
Another thing you could use that, especially being in the Bay Area, you shouldn't have as much issues as drying out as it would in Colorado. Yarn.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be
You're
really,
saying
really
wet yarn.
wet yarn. Because that'll have kind of a stick to your face.
Yeah. If you just
aspect
dangle
too.
if you just dangle yarn down and then before opening, take a spray bottle and just go through and
Spritz it
Just
down.
go through, yeah.
like,
That would do it.
Yeah,
Blech.
and that's a really cheap way because you just get. I wouldn't do the Karen Red Heart, or the Red Heart because it's a little bit on the scratchy side. But the Karen Simply Soft, that's softer, has more of a silky feel, and it
I'm going
does
to
have
assume that
some
these are different kinds of yarn.
I was going to ask.
I know.
Yes.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, though.
The Karen Simply Soft is probably going to be one of your best bets. They might have a sport weight now besides just their standard. If they do, that definitely give you some textural differences, but you can also just take sections of the Karen Simply Soft and just
No, that's perfect.
unwind it because it's a 3-ply.
Okay. No, that's awesome.
You're hilarious, Les.
Should have known she'd find a way to get the yarn into it.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. So I can definitely introduce you to the owner of Nightmare Netting who
Oh,
who
yes.
could hook you up with camo netting at a reasonable price.
Okay.
I will not say cheap because it's never
Yeah.
cheap, but
No.
they are good priced. Okay, so that's the darkness side. The monster side, we're talking tons of. So when you walk into this side, there is a path that is laid out, but with like 4-foot high walls, so everybody can see over the walls. They can see into this big open space that is going to be filled with all of these different monsters. And what monsters do you have, or are you planning to put in there? So
I want the one that I just bought, but I'm not going to use his voice box. He's 8 foot.
Dang.
He's tall. He's really big. So I want him in the bigger space in the corner. But I'm going to have our sound guy put what he says on the loop.
Yeah.
But we do have the mannequins. I can make the mannequins anything. So I do want some scary masks and things like that to put on the mannequins. Some of the stuff that we have is old and I want to get some new masks. That's a definite plus. And I've got a few we were given a bunch of stuff from a nonprofit about 4 years ago, I think, from the base, Moffett Field. And they did a bunch of stuff. And so we have a lot of stuff from her as well. And I haven't really looked through her boxes yet, but I know there's some Dracula pieces, some different masks and things. but I want a lot of just scary masks.
Yeah.
It could
Yeah.
be flasher face. It could be whatever. And we can we could do the rest of the body.
Sure. Sure.
So I don't know what I have as of yet. So,
But it sounds like it's going to be a wide variety of
very wide variety.
Yeah.
Yes. From gory to not gory to, to what you would find at walking through a museum type.
Mhm.
In terms of adding some additional props,
There'll be space for all of it. Yes.
Well, but Project Backfire, Tayan's monsters.
Ooh.
She's got some great. They're like stuffed animal size because she basically takes stuffed animals and rejiggers them. But Tayan's got a bunch of stuff. So Project Backfire, and she'll be at Fear Expo. She's got a bunch of stuff that I would definitely recommend you go over and take a look at.
Okay.
Yeah, Tayan's got some great stuff.
Ask about the Richard.
Oh. Do I want to look that one up right now?
Ask Tayan about the Richard.
Ooh.
There's a specific reason
story.
it's called the Richard.
Oh yes. Oh yes. But I love that idea. Because I don't want it whimsical, and we have a lot of whimsical stuff. And I'm like, I don't want whimsical at all. I really want it to be scary.
Tayan's is horrifyingly whimsical. I find it whimsical. I'm also twisted.
The best prop that she made, like my favorite prop that she makes, because I've seen it nowhere else, is a dentist drill. And like the sound that it makes is freaking perfect.
Right on. And that's actually, in terms of providing atmospheric sounds related to other phobias,
right?
Thunder and lightning would be a great one because there's a lot of people that's a big thing. Dentist is definitely another one.
It may, here's an idea. Take a whole bunch of really unnerving sounds and put them on a loop and play it in the queue line so that they are already at a high state of anxiety before they ever walk through the
Exactly.
Dogs.
Like the mice scurrying across the floor.
Mice scurrying across. Dogs barking, thunder, lightning, the dentist drill, cockroaches, all of it. Rats.
Oh my gosh.
It was like the classic hook scraping, metal scraping sound.
Footsteps. Yeah. All of those things we're talking about, like, started in the queue line.
Very
You
good.
get them all jazzed up before they even go in there.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
I almost talked him into buying another Mortimer.
May
I almost
I
had
don't
him.
have that kind of money. Like, I would love to buy one and donate it to the Candlelighters, but I don't have that kind of money.
We have a good budget. I want to say we have $2,500 we get to spend.
But you're gonna need that for the room.
Yeah, I know. But you know what? That's okay.
So any other thoughts on the monster room? Or really the carriage house as a whole before we kind of dive into some of these other phobias. Okay, I'm going to check myself out for a moment and let you guys discuss clowns. Go.
Ooh,
Clowns.
Clowns are going to be fun.
Classic.
Oh my gosh. And I know Jeff wants the little horn and he's going to chase a few people.
Oh, uh-huh.
Yes.
Squeaky.
Yeah.
But I also know that we were going to do scary clowns and not the fun, whimsical clown. And I asked him what he was going to do in his room. He goes, I'm not going to tell you yet. I'll tell you at the rooms meeting. So I know that Jeff is super excited about doing that. Super excited. But I want to know, how would you guys do a heights room? Because I really want a heights room.
I really like that idea.
There's a couple of ways that I can think of for doing a heights room or something falling. One of the ways to do it would be as a visual effect. So there's no change in elevation, but you have everything. Basically, you just have projections on the side that look like you're falling.
Oh.
Just kind of something like consistently moving.
Yeah, something consistently moving down. So you get that, like, you're falling sensation, but without having to adjust elevation, which again is going to help your ADA. Because the other way I can think about for doing it is you do kind of a bridge up, across, and then down. But that's A, more building, and B, can make ADA a little bit more complicated. And I don't know what your ceiling height is.
We can do the ramp.
Annette, did you go to Zoo Lights at Oakland last year?
No. But you know how the ramp?
Find...
Okay.
Go ahead.
You know,
Well, I'll find this.
hold on. You know how the ramp has the door where we have where the slider door closes? We have that space up until room 1. And that's a good from where, remember where you had the laser light? We have a good amount of space on that, I think. That would be awesome to do it right there because there's nothing there.
Let me pitch this idea to you. So I saw this at Glowfari, is what Oakland Zoo calls their zoo lights.
Oh yeah,
and it's I got to turn my false backdrop off because it's just blocking it. You get to see my guest room now.
Oh well.
I'm hoping your son is about to pack.
I give you the witch's brooms in the corner.
Okay, so they had this thing set up, which is a TV screen at the far end,
right,
and then mirrored walls all around, so that the mirrored walls are just reflecting what's on the screen. And if you were to put like a video of something falling on that TV screen, now the entire thing around it would be falling. People walk up to that and all they see is falling. Like,
oh my gosh,
that would throw me for a loop.
One of the guys asked me about doing a mirrored room all the way around the mirror, and I like, we could do that because I have the film for that. I have mirrored film and stuff, so that would be really good to do that.
Yeah.
And you could do it with just a simple television at one end, do the mirrored pieces
and you won't even
off
have
of that.
Right.
Exactly. It would be so easy.
Mm-hmm.
What were you going to say, Les?
Just adding in that disorientation of having so much mirrored of falling and just putting through different clips of falling off a building, falling off a cliff.
Sure.
Almost like the ride at Disneyland. The one where
you talking about soaring?
Soaring over California.
Yeah.
Just that. Yep.
Yeah. That's the way I would do the falling, because that gets your height. Mm-hmm. That gets your sensation of falling. It is definitely going to disorient people. So I would definitely recommend having handrails or something that they could grab onto.
That's a good point.
Just for safety, security, etc.
Yeah.
Because I can definitely see that being, it's like, I don't know if you guys have seen the video of the two kids on a basically a TV screen floor that shows like water moving, and then basically the kids are walking on it, but they fall over because it looks like floor just moved, even though obviously it didn't.
Okay.
So it's especially for the younger audience, but even then, I mean,
exactly.
Definitely something that can get you pretty
ooh, that sounds good.
By surprise.
Second idea, if you can see inside there, we call it a vortex tunnel.
Yeah.
Where the tunnel is rotating, and as you're walking through it, it looks like the door on the far side is what's moving, and just gave me this terrible sense of vertigo as I'm walking through one of these.
Yeah.
Given
the amount of space you have to build in, though, that would be very difficult.
Anyway, but yes, I think that's an ideal right there. And the other one that I was worried about, because I know the snakes are going to be somewhat easy and the spiders are going to be easy, but I am going to get the netting that you said to get. So we're going to pull that all the way through that hallway. But I really,
another thing you could do with the mirror room, if you didn't want to do falling, or if that becomes too much of a tripping hazard, middle of the ocean. Ooh, vast megalophobia, terror of large expanses of nothing.
Oh my gosh, that would be awesome.
Good.
What if we could set up one room as just one giant infinity mirror?
Ooh, that would be cool.
That would be cool. We would need a big ass film, though.
I know that one of the girls is doing a zombie room, but I think she wants to do her own thing. And I'm like, okay, I guess you could do your own thing. So, but I would love to give her some, some pointers, I guess, without being too rude, without steering it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally know what you mean.
Okay. But again, I don't even know what she's doing. I just know that it started off as a witch room, And I told her there's no witches in this house, so can we make it zombies instead? And she was like, I didn't know if I wanted to do the blood or not. I'm like, well, we need something near the end to be a little bit more horrifying than a witch.
Yeah.
And she was like, okay, well, let's see what we can do. And I'm like, okay.
Zombies don't necessarily have to be bloody to be horrifying.
You don't have to be bloody, but she also doesn't like zombies. So there was that.
There's that.
We have a bias to begin with.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know. It was just a little bit weird, but I guess it's okay.
Yeah. So, I mean,
No,
having to
if,
navigate the intra organizational politics can be a challenge.
Well, if she's not
It can be.
big on traditional zombies, and if she wants to do something that kind of has that witch element to it,
Well,
she might, and this again, I leave this to you and your how you want to see the haunt, but a voodoo zombie. They're not your traditional. They're still pretty freaky. You get a little bit of that witchiness without it being about witches. So I would definitely, if she's struggling with zombie, have her look into voodoo zombies. You get a bit of that witchy stuff. Look into, obviously, Princess and the Frog, Disney movie. You got some good voodoo zombie stuff in there. The other really good one, I would say, is the TV series Constantine. They've got a couple of good episodes with voodoo zombies. Sorry, Kay.
I need to watch that, honestly.
You really do.
Mm-hmm. That was pretty good, actually. I saw that.
Okay. What other rooms you want to talk?
Spiders. How would we do the hallway?
So you and I talked already about beef netting.
The beef netting. So I can pull it from the room and a little bit over the top of their heads with it being open. That's not a problem.
Yep.
But on the other side of the wall, so we would just pull it and just staple it to the wall to make sure no one, because I don't want the same thing happening that happened with the skulls. I don't want them to pull it along. I don't want it to grab at them and things like that. So it has to be flush on the wall.
Yeah. And I mean, nice thing about this, like you can keep the parts that are coming up off the wall up high so that it's less of a grab.
Okay. Because I really like the fact
Desire.
that if we were to pull it and make an actual dome on the top of them,
yes,
so walk through the web,
yes,
that would be ideally fun. Oh my gosh, that would be so fun.
Yep.
And then the filament hangs down at that point.
Yes,
yep.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
The other thing I would say with that is do a Harry Potter Follow the Spiders, Chamber of Secrets, where you just have the spiders walking along the walls. And you can do that not only by, basically just attach a whole bunch of little plastic spiders to the walls.
Spider rings.
But you light them with a flicker.
Oh.
And you light them with offsetting flickers. So that way you get the shadows move. So it looks like it's moving.
Oh, that's freaking genius.
Oh, that's awesome.
And you know what I bought for you, right?
Yes, I know.
Flickering mini lights.
Yes.
Yeah. So just set them at different points.
Attach those to a board or a piece of cardboard that we lightly spray paint black.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't fold, and then attach everything to that and put the lights behind it and poke it through a smidge.
Yeah, you could totally do something like that.
That way I don't have to put it out on the wall.
Yeah,
where they can
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, so that should give you a good draw in for the hallway.
Okay, that would be awesome. So I would love that to be over by number 5 and number 6. So we have that long hallway. That would be super cool. Where at the end of your crypt.
Yeah. Okay.
Corner.
Yep. You saw exactly what I was doing. I was mapping it out in my head.
Oh yeah. No, that would be. Oh, that's going to be awesome. That's going to be awesome. Okay. Man, oh man. Okay. Oh my gosh, I can see it now. That's going to be so fun. Oh my gosh. Oh man, oh man. Okay. What other ideas would you have for a bird's room? I know she wants. Oh well, there I am. Hello.
Welcome back. It worked. Wonderful.
The other crap in this room. So the way she wants to do the birds, she was thinking one of the characters dressed, but actually have birds in his hand. So I don't know how she would do that, but I'm like, let's try to figure out something else that she can do. It sounds kind of neat.
When I think of the birds, the scene that comes to mind is that scene where the main characters walk outside and there are birds covering everything.
Everywhere.
Just sitting there, staring at them.
Right.
And it's so unnerving. So I would start it with covering the walls with branches or something for birds to sit on, and then just cover the walls in birds all staring down. And even if you could do branches coming off of the walls
really high up, so that they'll walk under.
Exactly, creating a dome again, kind of like we talked about with the spider, but out of tree branches or something like that, and then just cover them with as many birds as you can make.
There also needs to be at least a couple of ducks, both for the Far Side cartoon and for Never Pick Up a Duck in a Dungeon.
That's awesome.
And then, if you could sample the audio out of the birds from that scene and play that there in the hallway, it would be so creepy.
There's an episode in Pushing Daisies where they do a homage to Hitchcock's The Bird. Let me find out which episode it is, but there's an episode in Pushing Daisies that might have some good ideas as well as getting some good audio. Let me go find it.
Okay. No, that would be great. So we do have a spring-loaded door that we got from last year's Spirit, and the doors
the double that opens like this.
And it opens and the spider jumps out.
Yep.
I'm wondering, I think they had it on a step pad the last time when they used it at the Spirit store. I don't want it on the step pad because the step pads tend to not really last for the 2.5 weeks.
Sure.
Is there any way that we can look at that and maybe make it a button?
Like to have a person, like an actor, trigger it?
Or trigger it.
That would be simple to do. I've got one of those spiders at home. I have it just on the sound sensor, and it is impressively effective.
Okay.
Or at least it was until it got run over by a car, but separate situation. It was not made for that.
Okay. No, that's good. Okay.
But yes, you could certainly wire that to just a regular push button in the same way that you do a step pad. It's just wire the button instead of the step pad.
Okay.
Brian should be able to do that relatively simply.
Okay. All right. I think that's it because I don't know what other.
I want to talk rats real quick.
Okay, the episode before you talk rats, the episode of Pushing Daisies is Bittersweets. It's episode 8 of season 1.
I'm going to share my screen real quick while we're doing this. Okay, for rats, spiders, or snakes, I think something like this could be very effective. Are you you're familiar with Atmos FX, I'm sure?
Yes.
They have one called Creepy Crawlies that I use every year. This is the rats.
Oh yeah.
It's literally just rats running out of a hole, and
my God.
I put this on a projector. I project it down onto the floor, right in front of where people are going to be walking, and then put it on a motion sensor so that as soon as they walk up, it gets triggered, and then at where they're trying to step, all of this pops out. It freaks people out every time. But they've got rats in that package. They've got rats, they've got snakes, and they've got tarantulas. So wherever it fits best, I think using something like that is very effective. And just the sound of it.
No,
freaking bleh.
Oh, exactly. Love it. Love
There
it.
it is. Creepy Crawlies too.
Oh man,
it's
that's
$15.
awesome. Oh my goodness, that's awesome.
It's fantastic.
Yep, exactly. So I do love the idea of having it on the ground because I brought home the old signage and I'm taking off all the plastic vinyl off the old signage. So it's clear white boards.
Okay.
And so I was going to take those and cut them to size to fit in the hallways or on the wall. So either for projection or for painting purposes. And because out on the way to Jeff's, I want a really long, you know how when you are walking across like on the street and you have Steven Spielberg, the clown, or It, the red balloon?
Yeah, totally.
Mhm.
So I want the grates on the floor. And
like the storm drain
walking-
grates.
Yes, there's storm drain grates all the way down that hallway. And I want you to
Balloon.
see a picture. There's balloons in the hallway, but I also want you to see his face, the clown's face,
Yeah.
in between
Yeah.
the grates.
Oh,
So
yes.
I don't care if I have to cut that thing out or whatever. I'm going to put that thing together and I'm going to shellac the crap out of it so nobody ruins it when they walk over it.
Yeah.
But I want that. And then the spotlight hitting it here and there so they just catch the glimpse of it. Oh, yeah. That's what I
love
want.
that. I love that. That's fantastic.
I don't know what he wants. And they're going to be screaming like crazy. There are going to be a lot of people going out the back door. They don't like clowns. And I think this is going to be way. Oh, yes. I think this is way.
Okay. I want to
But
talk drowning real quick.
Drowning. Okay.
So
Not recommended, but very, very good for effect.
fact, when Desiree is the one who pitched this idea to me, and kind of what she was talking about was putting like material or something to make it look like the waves kind of hanging from the ceiling, trying to make it so you feel like you're underwater. I would hit that with some serious blue light, and if you have like the motion blue green kind of swirly lights, like something like that, but then put a drowning victim in the room. And what I want you to Google is Axe-worthy ghost.
Another thing I would
Worthy.
consider in terms of design is it actually kills two birds with one stone.
Go ahead, Les.
Is put the water in a cave.
Ooh, could be.
Build your cave, light it as water, so now you're underground. You're underwater in a cave.
Yeah.
So you get kind of that buried alive, drowning combination.
You get a little bit of claustrophobia in there, plus you get the drowning.
Yep.
But what I would do is put a drowning victim in there, use an Axe-worthy ghost. It's a very simple single motor prop that just makes it move like this.
Okay. Okay.
I think for an underwater scene, it would be exactly the motion you want to suggest a person underwater.
Okay. No, that sounds great. And at Axe-worthy Ghost, I'm gonna find.
You'll find how to make that motion.
How to make.
Yeah, it's called an Axe-worthy ghost. It doesn't have to be a ghost. You can put whatever you want on the end of it. It's all about the motion.
Okay. All right. No, that's perfect. No, I like that. And then we're gonna go to
Buried Alive, I think, is
bat.
the only one we really haven't talked about.
Buried
Or
Alive. We
bats.
haven't talked, or the bats. And I think Linda had an idea for the Buried Alive. I think she was going to put tree roots on the ceiling of the room.
Okay.
But I don't know if that's going to get you the feel of being buried alive. I think that's an underground theme. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think
Underground
that is-
and
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, can you do like not quite a squeeze tunnel, but like partial?
I have pitched squeeze tunnels in the past.
I would
And-
love a squeeze tunnel. I would love a squeeze tunnel, but they're going to say no to that.
I was like,
man.
it's not.
Like
The ADA makes it
the
complicated.
ADA makes it complicated,
It does.
and like you can get away from
Yeah.
I think you get around the ADA by just not inflating it when someone ADA comes
I
through.
agree.
Like
Or
there are
the
ways
other thing
around
is-
this.
Okay, so but if you start, I'm pitching ideas
Go
and
ahead.
I don't know how the thing works. Start with it deflated.
Yep.
As they walk through the room, you inflate it up to the point where you hit that ADA line. No? Okay.
Because the
No.
hallway itself already meets ADA, and we there's no room to
To
make
inflate
it
something.
smaller. The
Yeah.
only place where we would have enough room to do something like that would be in the main room, in the carriage
Okay.
house, and
How tall are your ceilings?
8
In the
foot.
carriage house, we have an at least, yeah. In the
I think
carriage
they're
house,
8 foot.
we have, they're huge.
Well, yeah, carriage house is
So-
huge, but inside the like where the rooms are,
Inside the thing,
where the fears
Yeah,
are going to
because-
be, it's just 8 foot.
it's just an 8
Okay.
foot, 'cause it doesn't.
And actually, if I remember correctly, I think it's like 7 foot 8 inches or something like that. Like it's slightly less than 8 foot.
because
Well,
we
that-
have all the wires and stuff between the
Mhm.
drop down ceiling.
Right. Just trying to think of a way to lowering the ceiling as they go through can also create that claustrophobic feeling.
Actually, that's an interesting idea. Put a sloped ceiling so that as they're walking, they're having to duck down further as they go with the tree roots hanging down.
Yeah.
Well, because I know that in room 6, she was thinking room 6 because it's a straight edges and the straight back. So it's just like a square. And I told her, I said, well, I kind of want that one for the height room because that way we could do whether it be looking down from the buildings or whatever, we can attach everything to the walls and the floor and have it look like you're looking down between the 2 buildings or the 4 buildings.
Yeah.
But she wants to, I was like, okay, but one year that was a cave and the ice princess was in that cave and the girl took a painter's cloth and made an actual, I guess, 2x4s, took it and made a whole thing, and she put everything on it. So when you looked in, you had this curved back wall.
Yeah.
And it wasn't all the way to the back. It was only like 3 feet in. It wasn't the entire length of it. But she had an ice princess there, and she took and put mud all over this, and it was super awesome. And the whole room looked like she was in an ice cave.
Yeah.
She painted it blue, and it was really good the way she hit it with the spray paint. It was nice. It was really nice. But she had to build the pieces that this heavy painter's tarp had to lay on for it to be, for it to stay up because there was nothing else.
Sure.
It was really good though. It was really, really good.
I think where you're going to struggle with this Buried Alive though is making people feel like they are experiencing it if it's just in the room and it doesn't extend out into the hallway somehow.
Right. Exactly. And so that's what I was thinking of. That one would be a nightmare because you know how you're, you know what I mean? And the thing would be closed, but I like the idea of bringing the floor up and putting the grass and maybe a grave or something along those lines and have somebody underneath it or have the voices come up from underneath it and have one of those things that kick the door and just have
a coffin sticking partway out of the of the ground with the door moving and then just screaming coming from the inside.
Because we have enough for 3 speakers for that room, I think.
Yeah.
But we can do something. I thought we could do something like that, but she has a whole different thing and she's going to pick your brain.
Noted. Okay. She texted me and we haven't gotten together yet. So I'll keep this conversation in mind when I meet with her.
That's what that's for. So it's like, it's kind of nonsense. We'll work on it a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's, it's okay because I want their take on it as well. And I don't know if I get to be this, pushy.
Sure. Sure.
I don't know. I'm saying please and thank you a lot.
That always just points in your favor.
I'm trying. But yeah, no, this was great. I really, really, really appreciate all the help with this. It's very cool. I can't wait to see how it turns out.
Me as well.
I really can't wait.
I think it's going to be the best house in freaking years.
So are you guys going to get to come back and actually stay for a night or something and check it out?
I can promise nothing at this point, but I will make an effort. That's all I can promise.
And I told my son he has to come down too. I said, your mom is president, so you get to see how demented your mother is. So let's go. So he was like, so what are the dates? And I told him, he's like, oh, that's going to be kind of hard. I'm like, just the night, son. Just need you for one night.
Yeah.
I'm here to babysit for the night. I don't need my granddaughter going through it. But yeah.
Well, now that we've whet everybody's taste buds for Ghost House 2024, give a quick rundown of where people can find more information about the upcoming Ghost House, where they can go look for information, get tickets.
You'll find a lot of the information that I did talk about on the www.candlelighters.com. And you should have the schedule up there, when we're going to be open, and volunteer meeting and stuff would be great if people come out and helped. The more, the better. There's lots of things that you can do, and you don't have to be, able to swing a hammer, because we'll teach you. If you can use a paintbrush, I would love it. But there's a lot of stuff to do, and it's just really fun. And we feed you, so.
and I always got fed pretty good.
Yeah. It's pretgoing fun. But
When is the
but we
volunteer
are-
social? Do you have a date yet?
the volunteer social, I do. Volunteer social is going to be in August, and it's usually the third Saturday in August. So it's going to be the 17th.
August 17th. So if you're interested in volunteering,
Yeah,
Okay.
it's one of those days. So it's if we can get the prop trailers out there by the 15th and we are cleaning out the props trailer before we start our work
Yeah.
party. Our first work party is not until the 7th of September. And if we can get that cleaned out, we will have so hopefully that'll happen on the 17th. If not, it will have to happen on the 24th. That'll be in the morning, but the social will be that afternoon in about 4 o'clock.
so
So
any hunters who are listening
Yeah.
to the podcast, if you're in the Bay Area, definitely go check out the Candlelighters website. And if you have the time or the bandwidth to assist, come out to the social on either August 17th or August 24th, depending on what day it ends up being. Check out their website, check out their Facebook page for more information.
thank you so much for having me. I appreciate all of it.
It was a
You're excellent.
pleasure. I've got to tell you, like getting to work with the Ghost House and getting to see how you run your events for the last 2 years has been a masterclass in haunted house execution. We spent an entire podcast episode just talking about what I learned from you. So like as I hope I have given to you as much as I have gotten out of working with you for the last.
Yes, definitely. I really appreciate everything that you've done for us. And I'm pushing for us to pay for you to come out. So believe me. You get a
Well,
call,
if you're
Keoni.
paying,
You know, we need Keoni for 2 days. That's all I need him for is 2 days. But, oh man. So it's very hard to find people who are, willing to put in the time and
passionate
and the
about
effort
this.
to make something that is just for kids a little bit better,
Yeah. Yeah. I totally get it.
If you're a nonprofit, come on out. We would love to have you help, and we would love to support you in any way that we can. So it's been a pleasure. It's been an absolute pleasure.
So Annette, thank you so much for joining us tonight, getting to share a little bit about the Ghost House and everything that the Candlelighters are doing for the community here in Fremont. It has been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
And if you guys need more help, if you just need to change out rooms and trying to figure out how to make them work, let us know, because this is the part that I love.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Do you understand why I've had so much fun working with them now? Like,
Yep. She's got a good vision and thought process for where she wants to move the organization in terms of this event.
Absolutely. And I'm so very excited about what she's going to put together. I think it's going to be absolutely spectacular.
Yeah.
Well, we have run extra long on this episode, so I don't know that there is much more that we should say other than definitely go check out the Haunting You podcast everywhere where you can find your podcast, or at hauntingyou.com with just the letter U. And of course, follow us along on our social media at facebook.com/hauntingyou, at Haunting University on Instagram, or at Haunting You, just the letter U, on YouTube, so you can keep up with all of the things that we are doing to prepare for the 2024 season. Any final thoughts, Les?
The Candlelighters is going to have such a great haunted house this year.
It's going to have such a great haunted house this year, and I just hope I can come back and see it.
Yeah.
All right, wrap us up.
That is yet another episode of Haunting You podcast. Thank you all for listening. And if you have anything that you'd like us to talk about, anything related to haunts, building haunts, and Halloween that you'd like to hear us pontificate about, by all means, let us know, and we'll be happy to.
Pontificate. Great word. Love it.
Yep. It's a good one.
It's a good one. Well, from all of us here at Haunting You, we hope your building season is going just absolutely spectacularly. If you can make it to a convention in your area, please make sure you do so. But in the meantime, we will catch you next time. From all of us here at Haunting You, happy haunting.
We are incredibly grateful to all the sponsors who make this show possible, especially our premium sponsors, the Chamber of Haunters, Fear Expo, and VFX. You can learn more about our premium sponsors by checking out their websites, chamberofhaunters.com, fearexpolive.com, and vfxcreates.com. Check out our website, Haunting You, for more information on everything that we do. Hunting You is a production of the Rocky Mountain Home Haunters, LLC. All audio clips and sound effects are used under a Creative Commons Attribution or public domain license from Purple Planet Music at purple-planet.com or the Sound Bible at soundbible.com. Please see the show notes for more information on all the clips used in this episode.